Hey everyone, it is Dani'i and welcome to this update video this evening. I hope that you guys are doing really wonderful. And so we'll be taking a look at the activity that is developing across the Caribbean and surrounding areas. And we'll also be hopping over into the Eastern Pacific very briefly because activity is starting to ramp up there. And then we're going to be looking at the Saharan dust across the Atlantic. And so before I go into details, please do subscribe if you haven't yet done so and tap the bell so that you never miss an important update. Okay, and so as I said, we're focusing on the Caribbean and surrounding areas. And as we take a look at northern South America, we can see here that there is lots of showers and thunderstorms, lots of activity just in the vicinity of Panama. Likely some very heavy rain there in some areas, maybe with some flooding as well. But as we look across other areas, not seeing as much activity in Colombia. A bit of thunderstorms developing across portions of southern Venezuela as was predicted this morning. And we also see lots of activity across some sections of Guyana, especially northern Guyana, and even coming in from Suriname and French Guiana as well. And there you have that activity in association with the approaching tropical wave. For the ABC Islands, though, it is likely that skies are a bit overcast with those high-level cirrus clouds coming from all that thunderstorm activity down in the southwestern Caribbean. But for the Windward Islands, though, things remain pretty dry with some of those passing clouds from the tropical Atlantic. Let's go further up here and we can see that nothing major is happening in the area. So it's beautiful sunshine this evening for most of us, and there is that Saharan dust in the area helping to stabilize the weather, and that prevents the development of any major shower and thunderstorm activity. So that is why the Eastern Caribbean right now, or many areas across the Caribbean islands, are vacant of any major activity. But as we drift more to the west, closer to Central America, there we can see lots of showers and thunderstorms, even across sections of the eastern Yucatan, going to Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, and even in some spots of El Salvador, a bit of activity as well. And so the axis of a tropical wave does extend in the area, which is helping to enhance all of that shower and thunderstorm activity. Going over into the Cayman Islands, though, we're seeing that there isn't much going on. For western Cuba, we can see that there is some thunderstorm activity developing. And even in some spots in Jamaica and Hispaniola as well. But for most areas, it is pretty dry and windy. So you can let me know in the comments what conditions are like for you. For the northwestern Bahamas, as was predicted again in this morning's update, we are seeing that shower and thunderstorm activity developing and even in the vicinity of Florida as well. And there is some activity over in the Gulf. And so that is what we see happening this afternoon. And in terms of any source of development, that seems highly unlikely. But again, there is that tropical wave in the Caribbean and another that will be entering heading to this weekend and enhancing the rainfall across the southeast. And we'll be talking more about that as well as the Saharan dust later down in this video. But now we want to hop over into the Eastern Pacific, and we can see that there are two disturbances, one of which is designated as an invest, that one highlighted in red. And so this is designated as invest 93E, and we can see that it has a high chance to develop, 80% chance to become a tropical cyclone within the next 7 days. So this is going to be lingering within this area. It's a broad low pressure area producing lots of showers and thunderstorms, a very disorganized system. However, conditions should be conducive enough to allow for this to gradually organize and become something out there. And so the next name to be used for the Eastern Pacific hurricane season is Calvin. So there has been Adrian, there was Beatrice, and now the next name to be used is Calvin. And then there is that other spot highlighted behind it. So a low pressure area is expected to form within this area here. And as of now, we can see that there's a 50% chance that something could develop in the next 7 days. And once that conducive environment is going to persist, the chance is going to eventually rise. But fortunately, this seems as though even if it will become something, it's going to be staying out there and not bringing direct impacts as a tropical cyclone to anywhere. And so now let's go ahead and take a look at the Saharan air layer map. And where we see more of these shades of oranges and reds, that is where we have denser areas of that dry air. There we can see that activity in association with the tropical wave. Another another wave is off Africa. There we see all that activity in association with it as well. And we also see a lot of that dry air off the coast as well. And so a lot of it is extensive across the tropical Atlantic, heading into the Caribbean, and just in the vicinity of the Turks and Caicos Islands, and even for Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, some of that even reaching Jamaica. So it's been hazy. You guys might have noticed that it's been pretty hazy today. And let's take a look at the forecast here. Now, in terms of this map, as we see more of those darker shades of brown, that is where we have a lot more of that Saharan dust. And so this is the forecast as we're going to be heading into the end of this week, going to Saturday. And notice that break in that plume of dry air as the tropical wave makes its way into the Caribbean. Now, it is going to be trying to disrupt the stability that the dry air is inducing. Dry, stable weather equates to less rainfall. So that tropical wave will be helping to disrupt that stability and result in some rainfall across the eastern islands, as is being predicted by the different models. And then heading into Sunday, though, we see that next plume of dust likely going to be making its way in. So that is what is in the forecast as of right now, and this is not something that is uncommon, guys. So it is pretty normal to see the Saharan dust being very abundant out there at this time of year, and it helps to suppress tropical cyclone development, which is some good news. However, in terms of that tropical wave that will be approaching this weekend, I will continue to keep you guys posted on all that you should know. And that is pretty much it for this update video, and so I hope that you found it to be quite informative. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments, and I will respond as best and as soon as I can. And remember to always be weatherwise.